Hi, I'm Cordelia. I'm a pianist from London, and I'm also currently lucky enough to be living in Kenya for 6 months, as well as enjoying the beautiful country and the buzzing city life of Nairobi. I've been working with some great pianists here and really getting to know them. Guildhall School of Music and Drama in London, which is where I studied as a postgrad, have helped to support this trip, and we've been looking together at some possibilities for some kind of scholarship assistance for Kenyan pianists. I want to try and work out what kind of appetite there is for advanced piano tuition here, and I also want to really get to know these pianists more, find out more about their background and learn how they feel about the piano, what their dreams are, and the possibilities for a career in music. I'm going to visit Teddy Otieno in Korogocho, which is an area right in the northeast of Nairobi. I've really loved teaching Teddy. He came first with not that much confidence, but just this curiosity and kind of insatiable thirst for knowledge about the piano and music and how things fit together and harmony and how it all works. And I can see when I teach him something, I can see his brain just processing at such a concentrated level. He also plays jazz, which I admire, and we're just going to go and visit him at his home in Lucky Summer and find out a bit more about where he's come from.
So Teddy Otieno is one of our pianists. I think he's our foremost pianist at Ghetto Classics. He came to Ghetto Classics through our Korogocho program, which is a community program. At Ghetto Classics, we work with children from the less fortunate side of Kenya. We started off in Korogocho, which is right next to Nairobi's dump site where all the garbage lands at the doorstep of my kids. Teddy is such a quiet and still person. He thinks a lot and he has deep feelings. But Teddy, in his steadfastness, is also very hardworking, very self-driven. And so at Ghetto Classics, we don't have that strong a piano program. The opportunities there so far have not been as great as they should be. But Teddy didn't care. Teddy taught himself how to play the piano. That is his.
My name is Teddy Otieno. I'm 19 years old. I live in Lucky Summer and I play the piano. To me, music is freedom. You can wake up like really stressed, you're worried, but when I go to the piano, everything is lost. I'm just concentrating on the piano because this is what keeps me happy. So I can spend like a whole day with the piano and not think about home at all, or other stuff that makes me stressed.
It seems like what you really relish about the piano is the hard work.
Yeah.
Like the amount of dedication that it takes and the kind of the focus is actually kind of what attracts you to it.
Yes,
is that right?
Yes.
We create a family of music, and that we hope also then changes the human being there. As they start to believe in themselves, you just sort of see their shoulders come up and their heads come up and they have big dreams and they see, you know what, I can do a lot more than the others around me think I can. And that is really what we are about.
So my main aim maybe is make the piano part of me and me being part of it. Maybe we can link the piano to be part of me and maybe I can be part of the piano, possibly.
What pianos do you have access to? Like, where do you do your practice?
We have like 2 pianos at the community center. It's like a 15-minute walk from here to there. So I mostly use the one at the community center. Then on Thursdays, possibly I go to the Art of Music offices in Garden Estate, where I practice for like 2 hours. Our school can't afford pianos, they are so expensive.
How old were you when you first walked into better classics?
I was like 12. Initially, I used to stay at home. My brother was the one, like, he had already joined Ghetto Classic and was playing the violin. So I said, let me see what my brother is doing at St. John. So I went to St. John. And then I was told to pick up the instrument, the tuba. The tuba was no one played the tuba. It was only there, and everyone despised it. But I played the tuba for like 2 years.
He knew that his passion was playing the piano, and he'd always ask, when were we going to get a piano teacher? He knows what he wants, and I really feel he will go far. He will go far because he has the talent, he has the drive, and every little lesson he gets, he takes the most out of it.
This is David Ralak. David is a violinist and has actually been described to me as Kenya's only professional violinist.
Third year into high school, my high school teacher came to Nairobi, to the city, and brought 2 violins, which was supposed to be shared with the whole school. And that's when I picked up the violin. And as soon as I picked it up, the first thing was to, of course, we had to try and figure out how to use the instrument. So there's this trouble of, okay, we have the bow and we have the rosin. How do we make this thing work? Because, a new bow just doesn't make any sound on the violin. It's a bit complex. Long story.
You didn't have a violinist there to show you
No.
how to use it, okay?
No, it's basically like figuring out this thing from scratch, from the tightening of everything. Of course, there were some books that the teacher bought, like it was obvious the strings are G, D, A, E, but we could hear because of choir training that G is supposed to sound like this.
Yeah.
Of course, we cut enough strings trying to tune the violin the first time, but even using the rosin was difficult the first time because it's a shiny piece. It looks like a shiny piece of glass, so it's just gliding over. It was a bit tricky the first time, but then eventually we figured out how it works. And I picked the first time I picked it up, I could figure out the solfa, I could figure out the intervals. And I don't think I put it down since that day. So that's.
And how old were you then?
I was 16. 2011, there was an examiner from UK, from the ABRSM, who came into the country and saw a lot of young talent and very new raw talent, and happened to be working for a summer school. So he said there's a slot for a violinist and a flautist. So if there's anyone from this side who has to come, they will be sorted. They don't have to pay for the cost; they can just pay for the flight.
Right.
So that's what happened. I was about 19 or 20, and when I got to the orchestra there, I found out that most of the people in the orchestra were about 13 years old, 14 years old, 15 years old, and they're playing like mad. And I was still with my grade 4. That gave me a little bit of a shocker because I didn't really know that that's really what happens out there. Yeah, the people really get really good at a really young age. And that's when I came back here and my mind started working in a different way. It really exposed me. I couldn't see myself settling for less because I'd already seen it, already experienced it. I couldn't just play less than what I've seen. And I just decided, okay, violin is the thing I'm doing. And that's when my life started turning around.
Today I am meeting Benaars. Benaars is, I think, a completely self-taught pianist and piano teacher, and during my months here we've been working on some of the Chopin etudes. We've come to the Kenya Conservatoire of Music, which you can see here, and on the other side is the National Theatre. The Conservatoire was started in the 1940s, and I'm hoping that we might get to have a little look around today. I also want to chat to Benaars about his ambition to perform as a soloist. Do you think there are lots of people who would like to do music but are studying something else in Kenya?
Yeah, I think there are lots of people who want to study music, but I think the main reason why most are averse to the idea is the prospects, the financial prospects are rather grim, I think, the parents talk them down. There's a perpetual cycle of most people who want to perform becoming teachers, because at least with the teaching is money and you can get to at least make a living, forge a living out of that. But not as a musician, not as a performing musician. I think that's usually clearly out of the picture. I mostly accompany exams,
Is that ABRSM?
BRSM exams, at the conservatoire.
Could you show us
Yeah,
inside?
I could. This is generally the area where we have the teaching and all the music activities. These are houses like 8 rooms. This is one of the rooms that has a piano and okay.
Today I'm visiting Karen, which is a leafy suburb of Nairobi.
I'm Sam Muriithi. Welcome to our Pianos Limited. We are a piano shop exclusively, and we are located at the Well Karen on Langata Road. People should not be afraid of pianos because we get people who just stand at the door and they're afraid to even walk in because of the price. But I think you can just pop in, play, enjoy yourself. We are open for you guys. Kind of people that are getting into music is much more of the younger generation. Even the concerts themselves, the concert goers, the concert players, everyone is on the younger side, the youth side. When they get to the point where they get their own kids and everything, they'll bring them up in such an environment, so that will spread music further.
You mentioned to me your recital series that you've been discussing with some of your pianist colleagues.
Right.
Can you tell us what is the kind of the idea of that? Why do you want to do it? What exactly would the concerts be?
All right, so we basically want to have a monthly sort of recital series.
Just for piano?
Just for piano, purely piano. Well done performances that are good enough to entice people to come on board, and when you ask them to come. We organized a small recital, and we were shocked. Guys just showed up. We can maybe have one every month.
So who is it that you want to be playing in these concerts? How long would they be, and what's the idea for the program?
A recital of, say, maybe 30 or 45 minutes would have 2 people, performing. They haven't had that exposure in playing, but I think they're ready to take on that and start performing. They play in church, so I guess we won't have nerves and things like that. But just like being the only person being listened to, I think that's a totally different experience. This is the real deal, If I exert myself in this and try to get the best out of it, that's as good as it can be, really.
Why do you think there aren't many famous Kenyan pianists?
I think people feel that it's difficult to achieve. It requires a great deal of discipline, commitment, of course, with quality instruction, and I think society is not willing to give that to one person, and no one is willing to basically walk the younger ones through that path of excellence. It's more like, letting the students find their own way. I wish I just had that. I was told it would be different. Long, were it not for his teachers, I believe it would be a different story. Yeah, so culturally, I think that's really where.
So you wish you'd had someone sort of challenging you
to
really push yourself.
Yeah, and not just challenging me and insisting. Because at a much later age, when you start realizing, oh, that was it, that was the truth.
How did you get yourself, from grade 4 level to professional level, just on your own?
I have to thank the internet first of all, because there are a lot of things on the internet, and it's of course, learning this instrument is really difficult if you don't really meet a teacher face to face, because some things you hear them describing is not as easy. They describe them very easy because they do them very easily, But then when you try and do it, there seems to be a whole layer of information missing. This, I knew what I had to do. It's either I find money and go to Europe and find a teacher who's gonna ground me and teach me, or I just figure it out myself. And of course I picked the cheaper option. If I don't, then I guess my past 10 years has been a waste. But I think very optimistically, I think about these things.
Can you tell me about what you've called the kind of glass ceiling in music in Kenya?
It's a certain standard of playing that I would love to call professional. There's a place where we're not really reaching because it seems that there isn't enough information to understand our instruments. When I was playing my violin in high school, as a violinist, I had no idea that there was something, for example, like second position or third position or fourth position. I just knew once you put your hand there and that's it. It only clicked much later when I was downloading pieces that had high notes. I was like, this is impossible. It's higher than a B on the A string. It's impossible. So, okay, something is interesting here, So that information isn't readily available. We have to find it ourselves. But that said and done, it really is fun to find it yourselves, because when you realize what you didn't know, it really makes the experience really fun. But no one really takes it to the next level because maybe people don't understand that there is a next level. Just when I thought I got serious enough with the instrument, I found that there's another whole universe to it. There's another whole layer to it, and I won't be surprised if there's another one after that one,
I think
and
it carries
another
on
one.
forever.
Yeah, and that's the thing that people need to know, because people just peel one layer and then they think, okay, it's comfortable. But then there's the infinite. I told myself that someone has to show people, and if it's not someone else, it has to be me. So if I can show the kids in Ghetto Classics, if I can show the kids who pick up that there's actually a career out of this, because I know what people are worried about. It's not that they're worried about their love for music. They're worried whether they're going to have a roof over their head. They're worried whether they're going to eat. It's the same worry I had as well. But, I'm a little bit crazy. I decided to, the decisions I had to make to be here sometimes are ridiculous.
The sales are actually increasing as the day goes by. There's a new curriculum that the government is putting in place whereby music is being brought back to school. So partly that is sort of helping, but not an immediate thing, I think. Also, the kind of side that the world is going to, where everyone is connected on the social media and everything. So people are actually picking up the pianos as an effect of seeing someone else doing it. So yes, it's actually increasing.
So I've been teaching myself over the last 4 years or 3 years, just practicing and watching videos on YouTube and watching you on YouTube. I don't want to play notes like a robot. I want each note and each rhythm to mean something, or to touch someone's heart when I play it. For me, it's not. I can play it, but for me, it's not ready yet. The way I want it to be.
Dream or goal in terms of the piano?
What I want is maybe an African pianist to be called in London to maybe come and perform for a concert. People from London coming to Kenya and performing. My aim is going to the Western countries and having my own concert.
And then, do you know of anyone that's doing that?
No.
No.
From Africa, no. Somehow it kills it makes me hopeless somehow, because there's no one to look up to in terms of that level right now, because no one is bothered on what to do like how much practice one needs to put in to the piano, because I've heard like professional pianists from the Western countries saying that they've been practicing for like 7 hours or 8 hours in a day, and here in Kenya, to find an instrument, it's hard, let alone like just practicing. So for me, right now, the possibilities are somehow slim, simply because like to find a tutor like you who can guide me on what to do, it's only once in a blue moon. Maybe if I get like lesson this year, I'll have to wait like 2 years or 3 years and get another lesson. So you find those years I've been making like small mistakes, but I'm working on it. I need to work really hard to improve on my technique. You know, when you're alone practicing, you don't know like you're making mistakes. You just you think that you're doing great. Then when I was in a lesson with you, I realized that I've been missing a lot in this only one bar. Then the next day when I come, I realized I've been missing something on this other bar. So I have to like go backwards, then start all over again. So it's frustrating.
Are you able to put into words how you feel when you play that piece?
It's a feeling like you are somehow there when Bach was composing this piece, and you're working with him, and then you forget everything that it's around the area that you are living in. Then you're somehow there with your hero, with your mentor, with someone.
I've been wondering how I feel at the end of all this filming. I think I feel that I've been kind of naive up to this point. I feel that I've been incredibly lucky in my musical education. To be honest, I never really questioned whether playing the piano was a realistic thing to study. I feel like that's an incredible luxury, actually, that I just could focus on studying. It's hard enough training to be a pianist. I think in Europe we do sometimes fight a little bit against a kind of apathy towards classical music. Like maybe the general public doesn't take it as seriously as we'd like them to, but we still have those institutions and structures of musical learning which are so crucial and valuable to an aspiring musician. It's been really exciting to see that spark of inspiration and determination, despite quite difficult circumstances perhaps, and despite lack of support. And I feel really honoured actually to have been here right now. It feels that this is a very dynamic time in terms of classical music in Kenya, that lots is happening. People are working really hard to make sure that young musicians here have got the opportunities that they need, and to try and open up the possibility of classical music as a career.
I see the future is very bright. I am excited. We have some amazing young people coming into the world of classical music right now. They are good. They appreciate the opportunity that was given to them, and so they're also willing to give it to other people. There's still barriers, and the biggest barrier is access to the instruments. You know, that is still a very, very big problem. And right now, because I say we have good musicians, we have a barrier in getting great musicians, and that's because of the technical skills. A lot of people, maybe David is a little bit different, David Ralak is a bit different, but a lot of them, they've reached their ceiling. And so we need to break that ceiling so that they can then get to the next step. It's just seeing that this is possible. That this is possible. Because there are kids who have never seen a piano in their lives. They've never seen anybody play it. Believe it or not, they haven't. And so making that a possibility, putting it on the menu for somebody, that is what would make a difference.